You're watching Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. Thanks for hanging out here with me. Coming up, I'm going to explain how the Philadelphia Eagles can beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 2 if they do these 5 things. And let's start to get to those keys to the game from me. Number 1, pass rush discipline against Patrick Mahomes. Because the Chiefs are a little bit talent deficient and they're without their 2 top wide receivers, Rashee Rice suspension, separated shoulder for Xavier Worthy, Patrick Mahomes feels the urge and the pressure to make things happen by himself. And frankly, he needs to, because this Chiefs offense really isn't that deep and they don't have a lot of talent. And I know that Travis Kelce did not retire. I think the Chiefs would have hoped he retired because he is not the same player who he was. We saw that last year. We saw it Week 1 against the Chargers. He doesn't have the same strength. He doesn't have the same tackle-breaking ability. He doesn't have the same getaway ability with the ability to pick up yards after the catch. And I know he had that touchdown, right? That was more of a schemed-up touchdown for Travis Kelce, more so than it being a really impressive play that he created. And what I mean by this is you can do everything right downfield in coverage with your secondary. I'm talking linebackers, corners, and safeties. You can have everything bottled up downfield. You can even generate pass rush on Patrick Mahomes. But then, because of how creative he is, with his vision, with his innate feel in the pocket, with his ability to improvise and extend plays, and with his athletic ability, because it's always been underrated, he's pretty quick and sneaky fast. He can burn you with his feet when he just gets a sliver of daylight. And then when you cover well and your pass rush nearly gets home and he takes off and runs for 10 to 15 yards, we saw it in Super Bowl 57, it deflates the defense. And against the Chargers, the playmaking ability for Mahomes was on full display. 24-39, 258 passing yards, but then he also ran in some really crucial moments 6 times for 57 yards. And so pass rush lane discipline, setting the edge against Patrick Mahomes, maybe having that quarterback spy, going to be important in this game. Key to the game number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles have to stop the run. And this was something that the Chiefs leaned on in that Week 1 game against the Chargers. The Chiefs found a lot of success running it, and it wasn't just Patrick Mahomes. It was Isaiah Pacheco and at times Kareem Hunt. Kansas City running it 17 times for 98 yards. The big number there, 5.8 yards per carry. Philadelphia against the Dallas Cowboys gave up 5.5 yards per carry. The Chiefs also had 1 rushing touchdown, thanks to Patrick Mahomes. And so in Week 1, I thought Philadelphia, without Jalen Carter, really struggled in stopping the run. And what that does is it allows Kansas City to win time of possession, to control the clock, to wear the Eagles defense down. And this is something underrated that I don't think people talk about enough. It keeps the opposing offense on the sideline. Offense is such a rhythm-based feel when it comes down to execution. And throughout the course of the game, if your offense is growing stale on the sideline and you're not able to catch that rhythm and flow, sometimes the offensive performance can be very up and down. It can be very Jekyll and Hyde. And that's why it's so important to stop the run. That's why last year, Philadelphia so often, led by Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles rushing attack, were able to dominate time of possession. And then what was so big, the Eagles defense last year stayed fresh throughout the year because they didn't have to play that many snaps, because Philadelphia ate up so much clock and maintained possession of the football. Key to the game number 3, get the pass game going. In Week 1 against the Cowboys, we're watching that game and we're like, is A.J. Brown going to get open? Is A.J. Brown going to get targeted? Where is Devontae Smith? Other than that Jahan Dotson 51-yard dime ball from Hurts, where was the passing game? It was kind of non-existent. And if you become one-dimensional, if you can't come through with explosive plays and generate those, Steve Spagnuolo, he's going to be able to smell blood in the water, and that Chiefs defense will start to feel confident about themselves. They'll draw some creative things up, and they'll be able to stop this Eagles offense if it's one-dimensional. And I thought that the Eagles were a little bit too Jalen Hurts reliant against Dallas. Hurts really bailed out this offense, being able to use his feet and use his legs. Now, It's not like Hurts was perfect in the pass game either. Keep in mind, you have a new offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, another new play caller for Jalen Hurts. He hasn't had a lot of stability as far as the voice in his ear relaying him the plays. Can he pull the trigger at times? Yes. Can he trust his wide receivers at times? For sure. Something that Tanner McKee does so well that I wish Hurts did a little bit more often, throw up this 50-50 balls. Give your receiver a chance. Sometimes if Hurts doesn't see it and he doesn't think that the look is there, he's going to come off that read a little bit too quickly. And Steve Spagnuolo certainly knows that. And the Eagles' pass game against the Dallas Cowboys, it was just too lacking. A.J. Brown, 1 target, 1 catch, 8 yards. Now, the 1 catch that he had, one of the biggest plays of that game. And credit to him for staying cool, calm, and collected and not going off on the sideline. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices when you're a championship-level team. Nick Sirianni talked about that after the game to his Eagles team. A.J. Brown did that. But you can't play sustainable offensive football and have Super Bowl aspirations if A.J. Brown consistently isn't performing and isn't able to put up big numbers like that. And I want to see the pass game concepts be a little bit more creative and just simply better. Devontae Smith, 3 catches, 16 yards. Dallas Goedert, 7 catches for 44. Jahan Dotson, 3 catches for 59. Awesome. And I like what he did. But 51 of those came on that chunk play. Key to the game number 4. I want to see the Eagles run out of 11 personnel more often. And against the Cowboys, they went heavy. And usually when you go heavy, 12 personnel, 13 personnel, and you got a lot of beef and you got a lot of bodies, you would expect that the Eagles at the line of scrimmage, at the point of attack, would be able to win that matchup, especially against a Cowboys defense that in 2024 couldn't stop the run. But surprisingly enough, Philadelphia, when they went 12, 13 personnel and they ran it, they didn't have any success at all. Saquon, out of those personnel looks and packages, had 14 carries for 30 yards, but 16 yards came on that misdirection toss. I like the creativity of that play. You faked out the defense. I said it live during the watch party, but 14 carries for 30 yards, you take away that 16-yarder, pretty much didn't do anything, right? That's 13 carries for 14 yards outside of that toss play. But when the Eagles were in 11 personnel, Saquon had 4 carries. I want to see that number go up, but he had 30 yards. Hopefully Kevin Patullo understands that, he sees that, and he can make those necessary adjustments. And then lastly, key to the game number 5, and maybe it's the biggest one when you go up against Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles in this Week 2 matchup can take down the Kansas City Chiefs once again if they put Patrick Mahomes under siege with an unrelenting pass rush. That was the formula for Philadelphia to dominate Kansas City in Super Bowl 59 when Mahomes had arguably the worst game of his career. And the formula is out there. Philadelphia in Super Bowl 59, 16 pressures, 11 quarterback hits, 6 sacks against Kansas City. They did not blitz once. And going into that game, I had said the formula to beat Mahomes is to have him under duress. The Buccaneers showed us that in Super Bowl 55 when they set a record for the most pressures in a Super Bowl. 29 of them. They accumulated 3 sacks when Tom Brady won that Super Bowl, and they had a pressure rate of 52%. And when you do that, Mahomes, he lost confidence. He wasn't sure what he was seeing, and he turned the football over. Philadelphia back in February at the Superdome, able to manufacture 3 turnovers. You do that, you're winning this football game again on Sunday in Week 2, and you're going to drop KC to 0-2 on the year. The Chiefs are without their top 2 wideouts. The Eagles are the better, more talented, and deeper team. Now, the Chiefs are desperate. You're going on the road to Arrowhead. It's a very difficult place to play. But this Eagles team in 2025 is better than the team in 2023 that went to Arrowhead and was able to eke that game out late. And I think Philadelphia can win this game once again. So I want you to predict the score. Eagles-Chiefs, Super Bowl 59 rematch. Get specific with it down in the comment section. And this is what I'm going with. We'll see what happens with Jalen Carter. Eagles 31, Chiefs 29. I think it's close. I think it's back and forth. But I think the Eagles' talent is able to outlast Kansas City. They're so good with close game and late game execution, and they edge Kansas City by 2.